strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. I know it. We talk about it. We discuss it. It does not matter who the host is. That is for sure. Anyways, today is Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday, June the 22nd of 2022, day 173rd of the year. And let's see, only 192 remaining. Yeah, 192 remaining. So how are you? How was the overnight? How did you manage and handle everything that was going on inside of the world? Did you do anything fun and exciting? Those are all important questions to start off with. You know, it's our traditional good morning. Well, of course, based where I'm at, because it's morning. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. And I think that's always important to talk about, because at some point, if I'm broadcasting from somewhere else, I guess I should talk about it. And anyways, we are coming across the multiverse of Safety FM, which I guess talking about multiverse today, I guess we should talk about how the new multiverse came out on Disney Plus, but that's a whole other story. And then we are also hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
So, of course, hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm. So, I don't even know where to start besides the beginning, because that's the only way that we can start talking about what was trending yesterday. So, let's talk about this. Let's talk about all the stuff that was trending yesterday. So, making its circles yesterday was one of these things. The Church of Satan, yeah, you heard me correctly there, was trending after the Supreme Court ruled that Maine school choice program must allow families to use their funds to attend private religious schools. The ruling of godless detractors were arguing for the Church of Satan to start a school for kids to attend to, just to tick off the Christian school choice families. And I don't know, have you heard of this Church of Satan thing? Like, have you watched the little documentary that we're talking about? There is a little documentary that was making its rotations about what was going on with that it was interesting on their approach on how things were actually working out. So if you have not taken a look-see there, that is readily available. Anyways, what else was hitting the hashtags was Kellogg's was trending amid news of the food manufacturer was splitting itself off into 3 separate entities. One will just make cereal, one will make snacks, and one will be plant-based foods. You think they'll all be Kellogg's but just different brands or branches? I guess that's what we'll have to find out. It'll be interesting to see if they have different names. And then hashtag Uvalde cover-up was trending yesterday on news that the police on site did far too little to stop the slaughter at last month's massacre. And I guess we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. After, of course, we have the professional broadcasters come in and talk. But I think that we need to take a look at some other things as we are talking about this. So, with this being said, let's talk real quick. If you are interested in interacting with the show, it's a simple process of doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. It looks like some of you are already familiar with how this works, so callinradio.com does it in a simple process. You don't have to do much of anything. It gives you the 3 choices. Either you can video call, audio call, or send a message directly there. So it's all stuff that's capable for you to do right there inside of the Lingo Wingo. Anyways, if you are taking a look on the social media aspects on the different things, if we have a preferred choice or method to get to us, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com and click on Visual Radio. Yes, safetyfm.com, and that's Visual Radio will get you directly to us. So there you go. That will get you into our favorite so far. in regards of how we're setting all of this stuff up. And I will tell you, the safetyfm.com visual radio aspect will play a bigger key factor later down the road, and we'll talk about that as we get closer and closer into all those things. So just for the sake and mention of it, that's what we're discussing. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's time for us to bring in the professional broadcasters that will come in and talk about what is going on inside of the world of the news. And then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about what the hell's going on our end, and then go from there.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Unions and rail bosses are holding fresh talks to try and end the biggest strikes on the rail network in the UK in 3 decades. Tuesday's walkout by RMT union members caused disruption for hundreds of thousands, but millions also decided to work from home. It's a dispute over pay, jobs and working conditions, and further strikes are due on Thursday and Saturday. Green Party politician Zach Polanski says both the government and opposition Labour Party should be doing more.
And not only are they cutting their jobs, they're not even giving them the dignity of meeting them to negotiate. This is a government entirely missing in action, a Labour Party that's totally lacking in leadership. It's not a surprise that these workers who work so hard feel they've been driven to this because they don't feel represented by the 2 mainstream parties.
The US Senate has voted to speed up the passage of a bipartisan bill on gun control. It's described as the most significant package of new gun controls in a generation, but critics say it falls far short of what's required. Campaigning for Japan's upper house election has kicked off, with ruling and opposition parties rushing to address concerns over inflation and regional security. It's considered a key test of voter confidence in Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's government 9 months after he assumed office. Phoebe Amoroso reports from Tokyo.
125 seats are up for grabs in the 248-member upper house. The big issue candidates will have to tackle is rising prices as energy and food costs soar. The main opposition, the Constitutional Democratic Party of Japan, has criticised the ruling Liberal Democratic Party for not taking concrete steps to help consumers, calling the situation Kishida inflation. Also in the spotlight are concerns over China's growing assertiveness in the region and North Korea's ongoing weapons development program. The LDP has promised to bolster Japan's defense spending and is considering acquiring a counter-strike capability in response to missile threats. The election is set for July the 10th, with no more scheduled for the next 3 years.
South Korea and Singapore have reported their first cases of monkeypox. The viral disease causes symptoms typically ranging from fever to muscle ache and skin rash, and has been confirmed in at least 41 countries now. Davian reports.
South Korea reported its first 2 suspected cases of monkeypox this week, while Singapore confirmed its first as part of an ongoing global outbreak first confirmed in the UK last month. Among the suspected cases in South Korea, one is a foreign national while the other is a Korean citizen who traveled from Germany. Meanwhile, the patient in Singapore is a British man who works as a flight attendant. His close contacts are being quarantined for 21 days. Monkeypox is usually mild and most people recover within a few weeks without treatment, though some can develop complications. Global confirmed cases now exceed 3,000.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. We're going to put Brazil back in focus today and get an update on the efforts of President Jair Bolsonaro to win a second term in office. He faces the voters in early October and faces a challenger in the form of a predecessor, former President Lula da Silva, who is battling to make a political comeback. Bolsonaro's Trump-like populism has, up until now, insulated him from the normal rules of the political game, but correspondent Sam Cowie in Rio says the president may finally be running out of road.
It looks like Mr. Bolsonaro is going to lose the election to the former president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. You've got rocketing living costs over here as a kind of, a result of the fallout from the COVID-19 and the Ukraine war, runaway inflation. Nearly 60% of the population at the moment is suffering from some kind of food insecurity. People in poor and middle-income countries like Brazil tend to vote with their pockets even more so than in like established and wealthier first world nations. People will people, things are only going to get worse economically by the time the election comes in October, and so people will be really feeling the pain by then.
But he concedes that Bolsonaro's supporters remain hugely enthusiastic and that October is still a long way away, meaning that in Brazil there is still everything to play for. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, unions and rail bosses are holding fresh talks to try and end the biggest strikes on the rail network in the UK in 3 decades. The US Senate's voted to speed up the passage of a bipartisan bill on gun control. Campaigning for Japan's upper house election has kicked off, with parties rushing to address concerns over inflation and regional security, and South Korea and Singapore have reported their first cases of monkeypox. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM. Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, there you go, there you go, there you go. 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely hump day. Yeah, you got that. So let's get into it right away and talk about what is going on inside of the world of the hit list, because I think that that's going to be important. Anyways, just in case if you're confused and where the hell you're hanging out, this is RadioBig.fm and Safety FM, and you are hanging out on the Rated R Safety Show. And that's about all that's important at this particular portion, as we will continue to talk about what the hell's going on. Anyways, the Uvalde police were geared up and well-equipped to stop the shooter at last month's massacre in 3 minutes, according to the devastating testimony by the director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Steve McGraw. McGraw told the Texas Senate committee that the shooting was an abject failure of law enforcement, and said that the decision to wait to confront the shooter instead of charging in immediately was the absolute wrong decision. He did praise the work of teachers inside of the building who took the safeguard of their classrooms and building and the building where possible once they knew that the attack was unfolding. You know, there's so many things to talk about here, and it's still very, very important, all the information to talk about what had happened. But this is also what we talk about all the time, and here's where it'll get interesting for some, is things in retrospect. Shoulda, coulda, woulda is a lot of the conversation. Yes, were some bad decisions made? Yes. But this is all the stuff that we're looking in retrospect after we have created a timeline. And I know a lot of people are not going to love that in regard to talking about it, but yes, this is what we talk about all the time in regards of retrospective look at things. Was there failures? Yes. Can we do something now to go in and improve moving forward? Yes. Unfortunately, there's all kinds of information to still be discussed about that, and I guess we'll see more and more as it occurs in the incoming days.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, let's continue talking. Twitter board has formally filed paperwork with SEC to approve Elon Musk's purchase of the social media platform. In limbo in the recent weeks, Musk suggested that the whole deal was on hold as he and his team investigated Twitter's claim that the only 5% of accounts were bots and spam accounts, but they hasn't been revisited the issue yet. Musk will have to pay $1 billion breakup fee if he scrapped the deal at this point. Twitter stock is trading around $38 a share, and the sale price remains at $54.20 a share. So hold on. Think about this. A $1 billion breakup fee. Yeah, that's a B. A $1 billion breakup fee. I was actually watching a documentary yesterday where I was listening to that one guy recently was asked to leave his organization. The payout, $1.7 billion for you to step down. $1.7 billion. Yes, with a B there. Wow, what a deal, huh? What a deal of a lifetime. Anyways, 21 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's continue talking. Thomas and Mary Lou Gutner of Omaha thought that they would beautify their yard and help the bee population by planting bee-friendly flowers around their house. Soon they noticed that the flowers were certainly attracting bees, which were even making their way to a dozen of other houses. So there you go. Then the things got really weird when Thomas told the Associated Press that if you put your ears to the wall, you could hear buzzing. As spooky as it sounds, hundreds of bees are inside of the walls. He didn't want them to be exterminated as recently as he learned the importance of the ecological community. Instead, he shelled out $600 for a bee removal company to safely transplant the colony. All the 6,000 bees were removed from the insides of the wall of the home. So hold on. Let me make sure that I understood this properly. You had bees. You planted more things to get some more bees. You changed up your community a little bit to have some more bee execution. And I mean by more bees in the area, not being executed. You get the gig there. And then all of a sudden you were putting your ears to the wall and you found out that there was a lot more bees than what you expected. You know, this sounds kind of out there. Sounds a little out there for me. So there you go. I don't know. If I heard bees in my wall, I would probably freak out and call the exterminator. I know it's a terrible thing to say, but it's the truth. So let's continue talking a little bit about some other things that are going on inside of this world. Researchers believe that they have caught the world's largest recorded freshwater fish, a giant stingray from a river in Cambodia. The group called Wanderers of Cambodia, which includes scientists from both Cambodia and the U.S., announced the finding on Tuesday. The stingray weighs about 660 pounds and measures about 13 feet from snout to tail, besting the previous record of 646 pounds of a giant catfish caught in Thailand. I mean, I don't even want to think about that. I mean, look at it for a moment. If I was swimming around and saw a catfish that was, or not a catfish, but a stingray that was 13 feet, I might have some questions. And then for sure, after that would occur, I don't think that weighing it might be the greatest idea for me. I'm just saying in general. I don't know. Just bringing that up. Anyways, with that being said, I think it might be time to do some motivation. Well, not motivation. Let's do the Market Beat Minute. Let's bring in some John Smalls and let him tell you what's going on.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. Equities rebounded Tuesday, the first day of trading of the week, but we urge investors not to read too much into the move. The rally comes in the wake of new lows for the S&P 500 and is not likely to gain much momentum. The S&P 500 broke out of a downward slanting channel in the previous week, which suggests the downtrend will gain momentum and not the other way around. This week, there will be few economic or earnings reports to move the market, so inflationary concerns, fears of recession, and Fed speak will likely take the fore. The next big hurdle for the market will be the second quarter earnings report season. The peak of the season begins in about 3 weeks with reports from JP Morgan Chase and other big banks. And the news may not be good. Rising inflation and dwindling savings could put a cap on consumer spending, which is the backbone of the American economy. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
So there you go. Thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know exactly what is going on inside of the worldo in that particular regards, because it is always some things to talk about. Here we go. So here's what we found on our end. The Dow picked up about 641 points, and that's 2.15% on Tuesday, while the S&P added about 89, which is 2.45%. And the NASDAQ added about 270 points, which is 2.51%. West Texas Intermediate fell to $110.58 a barrel, where Brent crude is at just $114.58 That the national average of price of gas per gallon has slid 2 more cents on Tuesday, with making it $4.96. And it's not anything to be proud about, but definitely on the downward spiral, which I hope it continues to go down. Bitcoin continues to rally, adding about $330.20 to what it has going on for sure right there. And that would make it a 1.61% of an increase there. You know what? I keep on doing this. This has been the third day in a row that we traditionally talk about charting and different things that are going on that I did not mention. So maybe I should mention this now. So let me tell you real quick about the list on the New York Times bestsellers list portion of what is the top 5 books in the fiction category and the nonfiction category. And if you did hang out yesterday on the Jay Allen Show, you did realize that we were talking about goals and stuff like that. So, and some books were brought up at that time. But that's a whole other story. But with that being said, let's talk about the top 5 books in the fiction category. At number 5 is Book Lovers. And number 4 is Verity. And number 3 is Where the Crawdads Sing. By the way, did you know there's a movie coming out about this book? And I think it's relatively quickly that it's coming out. And number 2 was Sparing Partners. Boys, that could mean a lot. And at number 1, It Ends With Us. So there you go. Colleen Hoover's on there twice, just for mention purposes. And then in the nonfiction category, it goes something like this. And number 5 is Finding Me. And number 4, The Body Keeps the Score. And number 3 is Happy Go Lucky. At number 2 is Killing the Killers. Killing the Killers. And then at the number 1 spot in the nonfiction category, according to New York Times bestsellers list, this is what it is. James Patterson. No, that's the name of the book. And if you had to take a wild guess, who do you think it was written by? It was written by James Patterson. So there you go. A lot of stuff right there as we are talking, just in that particular regards, because I think that that's important. So let's talk about this. Looking around, or do we want to look around and talk about something else, or do we just want to jump into? Matter of fact, before we jump, let's talk about some. Nah, let's not do it that way. Let's just go ahead and jump into what we would deem our main story. Maybe that's the easier fashion of doing this. What do you think? You like the idea? Okay, I think I do too. Maybe I do. I'm not sure. I'm always confused on what I want to do next. No, seriously.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's start talking, let's start moving, let's start grooving, and let's start talking about some things that people don't always want to talk about, but sometimes it's important to do, sometimes it's not important to do, sometimes it's just one of those things that we need to do. But as you and I get to hang out, we get to see different things together. We get to do different things together. We get to do some things that people would be proud of, some things that people wouldn't be proud of, and all that kind of fun stuff. And this is the way that our world works. But with that being said, I have this question for you. I have this thing that I'm curious about. I have this thing that wants me to drive things forward and have a better understanding about, because sometimes I get very confused on some of the things that are going on in the field. But at any point in your career, do you feel that you are alone? And I don't mean alone like there's not other people out there that do the things that you do, or some similarities on the things that you do. I'm talking about, do you work inside of an organization where you feel that you are alone? And I mentioned this from the standpoint of being alone because, listen, sometimes some of this thing gets all mixed up. It gets all kinds of confusing. It gets all kinds of well, let's say swindle dindle in regards to the things that are going on. And I say this from the standpoint of the following. No person is an island, but also at times there can be some times that you feel that you're isolated. So I have to share this with you. As you can imagine, we get some phone calls around here about some different things that are going on inside of organizations, and that's kind of the way that it works. And the fun part is that sometimes we get to talk a little bit about what is going on inside of the world. And it's amazing to me sometimes the level of confusion that does occur inside of organizations. And I don't think that people come in with the intent of having malice in regards of what they're mentioning, but I also think that sometimes there are levels of confusions that are astronomical in regards of what is going on. And let me explain. So recently I received a call that a company had received some penalties from a government entity. You're a smart person, so I'm pretty sure that you'll figure out who the government entity is. And they needed to change their culture, meaning their safety culture within inside of the organization. And that's fine. Those things are important. You know, we can have that whole breakdown of safety culture compared to your culture and how that world blend occurs. And it needed to be driven from the top of the organization. Okay, I think it's all simple processes. It's nothing that we are discussing that's mind-boggling here. So I've attempted to schedule some meetings in regards of talking about safety culture, in regards of changing up how things work. And I am amazed on how there has been the separation in the sand, on how there has been that line drawn out that says, hey, listen, we need to change stuff inside of the organization, but us in the C-suite, well, we don't do the day in and day out work. The people that need to change are the people that are in the field. We have nothing to do with this. Now, I want you to think about that. There has been this mindset. There has been this thought process inside of the org here that all of a sudden believes that they have nothing to do with it because they are treating it as almost a standalone, a separate entity, which becomes all kinds of confusing, where it becomes all kinds of, different aspects there. Because the moment that you're trying to change the culture inside of your organization and you believe that we are all separated, well, you have a bigger problem than it just a culture change. And listen, when I say these things, I look around and go, well, where do you start looking at resolving the issue? Because now that the C-suite believes that they're on a separate tier compared to the rest of the organization, you have bigger problems. And I bring this up today for the whole standpoint of how does it work inside of your organization? Is it believed that you are on a separate island on what you do? What has happened throughout the journey that the lingo is not similar, where you can converse and change things? What has happened with the lingo that people don't understand that, I'm not going to sit here and say one team, one dream and all that kind of fun stuff. I mean, people do like to say those things. But where has it been lost in translation that you're one unit? And I think that this is where we struggle overall. And I'm not just saying this particular organization. I'm not saying just that particular organization. If you look at the bigger picture, people that get it, organizations that get it, move forward easier in understanding that you will never have a safety culture. And God forbid that, you want a safety culture. You want your culture to have a focus on safety, but not to have a separate safety culture. And this is the stuff that we need to talk about. This is the stuff that we need to understand. What is the language that we are using that the C-suite would think that it's different? And why would companies think because they got penalized by a government entity that all of a sudden now this is the focus and okay, I think we could pay something off and then now all of a sudden we have a safety culture? because that's not the case. That's not the way that things work. How do you look at it inside of your organization? How do you have these discussions? What is your interaction with the C-suite? What is the interaction with operations? Because I'm going to tell you, if you are in an organization and you are still being seen as the safety cop or the safety person, that's going to be a problem. Because they should know that you are there for the greater good of the organization. And listen, it takes sometimes years to get there. It's not an overnight process, but it's how do you change? How do you change? I mean, you have so many hats that you have to wear there in regards to that. I will have to say probably one of the best terms that I heard on how that it actually works. If you listen to Sam Goodman from the Hop Nerd, and he uses the verbiage of safety fix it. Because you have to know a little bit about everything to get that to work. Now, that's something to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you. We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you. So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms. Past the top of the hour. This is the Rated R Safety Show. This is called In the Name of Love. This is by Flux Vortex. The song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes.
You think I'm slowly? No, cutting my ties with you that I'm done.
So there you go. So, thank you to Flux Vortex for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So, there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. You know, all that dancing tune stuff, I don't know why, but we let them go longer and longer and longer. And longer, yeah, I've realized this. You know, it does happen. Anyways, thanks for the messagings that are coming across on Call-In Radio, callinradio.com. I can tell that I made some people mad. It's okay. About what I had to say about the Uvalde thing. And retrospect. It happens. It happens. And yes, believe me, if you want to be a root cause analysis person, you're more than welcome on doing so. Listen. Everything is given by a perspective. I get it. And listen, this is the great thing about what you and I get to do. The fun part is that if you want to call in and have that discussion, you're more than welcome on doing so. You can do the same thing by callinradio.com. But the other portion is that's the whole gig. It's for us to talk about this. I don't think that any one of us is going to be right. I don't think that any one of us is going to be wrong. We just need to take a look at the different aspects. But listen, as a good friend of mine says all the time, lottery tickets are knowable after they're actually pulled. Yeah, it's a pretty simple process. Yes, I can give you the winning numbers after they were drawn. It's a simple issue right there. But retrospect is one of those things that we need to talk about all the time. It is easy for people to say, hey, I know this, this, and this after something has occurred. I know what to expect because something has already happened. I know a lot of people are not going to love me saying that, and that's okay. But this is where we need to have these conversations. So there you go. Anyways, let's get a little bit back into the world of the news because I think that this is important for us to talk about it. Let's talk about Planet. Yeah, plan it, not plan it. So there you go. Are you starting to plan your next family vacation? Well, get busy. Vacations are more enjoyable for the whole family when they're well planned out in advance. That's according to a new survey of 2,000 American parents, which found that when they are preparing for vacation, 1 in 4 say that they are planners and that their family, the ones that keep everything on track and organized. Meanwhile, the other ones name their partner or co-parent. as the agent of chaos who always seems to have caused trouble 18% of the time, or is always running late 17% of the time. The poll of Chase IGH regards rewards credit cards also found that 76% of families are able to plan out their entire itinerary within 6 hours over the span of a few days. And 6 in 10, or 61% of the families, start planning at least 5 weeks in advance. On the other side, 28% are still frantically getting ready up to the very last minute. More than 55% haven't had a vacation in 3 years, but 70% are planning to take one within the next 18 months. Hold on, I'm planning out a vacation in 18 months. So wait a minute. If only 1 in 4 parents are planners, does that mean that in some family there is no one who is a planner? I mean, I'm just asking. And that could also explain why these people haven't gone on vacation in almost 3 years. With my family, you can't even plan a trip to the grocery store. So when it comes to vacations, it's just every man and woman for themselves. Think about it. I don't know. Just some stuff to think about. I don't know how you do it, but I have some ideas on the things that I would like to do when I go on vacay, but I don't have it all planned out where I'm like, okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to do the other, because if you had it all planned out like that, that just seems way too stressful. It seems way too stressful because that means I must meet timeline X, Y, and Z. Now, listen, I say this because I do live in an area where I see people come across from around the world to come here to be on the happiest, to be next to or at the happiest place on the planet. And I always say that my kids are jaded because we can just drive to the happiest place on the planet on a weekend with no problem, or any day of the week, or go to that universal place with no problem. And, you know, I guess it kind of warps the mind a little bit when those things are set up. But anyways, enough about that. With that being said, I think it's time to bring in some John Smalls and let him tell you what is going on with the Motivation Minute, so that way we can get motivated and moving and grooving.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Alyssa. Khalil Gibran said, "A man's true wealth is the good he does in the world." I love that, and I agree with it. I know wealthy people who give back to their community and to the world. Their lasting impact will be these things. Sure, they made some sort of difference in business too, but the big difference will most likely be these extra things that they wanted to do for their community and for the world around them. These will be the things that they fondly remember. Most of us will not look back and say, "I wish I would have been in more meetings," but we may say, "I wish I would have helped a little more when I could have." This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. You might have heard about creatine supplements and their assistance in active lifestyle. A new study has found that creatine supplementation may enhance resistance training adaptations. Resistance exercise and creatine supplementation improved lower and upper body strength and increased fat-free mass, muscular endurance, and bone mineral density. Creatine supplementation also has interesting effects on the brain and can increase brain creatine levels as much as 10%. Some studies have shown the potential of creatine supplementation as a way to improve cognitive function in young and elderly adults and vegetarians. The best dietary sources of creatine include meat, poultry, and fish. Creatine monohydrate appears to be the best form of supplementation. For more information, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, 50 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out doing the lovely things that we get to do on this lovely hump day. Anyways, don't worry. I got some more information to share with you before we move over to Radio Big.FM exclusively over the next couple hours or so. So with that being said, let me tell you the most important thing that you'll ever hear me say, and that's about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experience from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741, or you can go to AFSP, that's AFSP.org, to find out some more information. So there you go. That's what's going on right there. Listen, it's a conversation that we need to have, not sometimes, but all of the times, because this is super important. We can't do what we do around here in this life without you. Everybody's here to play their own part, and nobody can do your part for you. So there you go. Anyways, that's what's going on inside of there. Let's continue talking a little bit more about what is going on inside of the world right now. Where do we want to go? There's so much to talk about. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's talk about this one real quick, because I think that this is going to be one of those things that we can jump around and talk about. Do we want to talk about ketchup? Really? Ketchup. Yeah, ketchup for the best results refrigerating after opening. Why are we talking about this? I don't even know why this is here. Seriously. Let's talk about this real quick, because I have a lot of people that tell me about moving and living in different places and all that kind of fun stuff. So I got a list for you. Most expensive North American cities to live in, according to a comparison of the average cost of the cost of 8 common necessity items and services: theater tickets, restaurant meals, bottled water, cappuccino, gym membership, transit tickets, and 1 month's rent. So here's 10. I'm going to give you the top 10. At number 10 was Montreal, Quebec. At number 9, Ottawa, Ontario. At number 8, Chicago, Illinois. At number 7 was San Diego, California. At number 6 was Los Angeles, California. At number 5 was Toronto, Ontario. At number 4 was Hamilton, Ontario. At number 3 was Vancouver, British Columbia. At number 3 was Mississauga, Ontario. And the number 1 most expensive city to live in North America, I don't think I have to really tell you or have a lot of build-up to it, because I think you already know. New York. No doubt about it. The most expensive place to live in North America. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more about what is going on inside of this world. I want to tell you this real quick. Have you heard about this? Former President Barack Obama, Michelle Obama's Higher Ground Production, has found a new home for its podcast. After ditching Spotify after 2 years, they've inked a first-look deal with Audible. The deal is structured so that they are not exclusively tied to one platform like they were with Spotify. Essentially, the deal allows Obamas to make more money. Remember on, let's see, so that's just so just remember that this is going to be one of these things that when you take a look at Audible now on how things will be changing from their perspective. So it's kind of interesting on how that all works out. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date, because we always have to talk about this. Let's go with something a little bit lighthearted today. So let's see. Back in 2009, Eastman Kodak Company discontinues the Kodak Chrome, its signature camera film, and the theme of a Paul Simon song. Kodak received nearly 20,000 patents in the 20th century for innovation in photography. Nearly a quarter of those patents came between 1995 and 1999. In World War I, it helped aerial cameras for spy missions, and in 1969 provided the film used for the Apollo 11 moon landing. So there you go. That all happened back in 2009. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let me give you some of those. Jake Clark turns 22. Danny Green, 35. Johnny Bananas turns 40. Portia Willis turns 41. Donald Faison turns 48. Carson Daly, from TRL fame, turns 49. Kurt Warner, 51. Dan Brown, 58. Tracy Poland, 62. Bruce Campbell, 64. Cyndi Lauper turns 69. Elizabeth Warren turns 73. And Meryl Streep turned 73 today. So those are all birthdays that are going on today. If you're so inclined on wanting to know that stuff. If you're looking for some days of the year to celebrate, those are kind of simple real quick. It's National HVAC Tech Day, National Chocolate Eclair Day. Okay, I got my plan now. And then National Onion Rings Day. I didn't even know there was a day to celebrate onion rings, but I guess that's a gig. That's a gig for sure. To do. Anyways, let's talk real quick about did you know the world's largest recorded freshwater fish has been caught. Why are we talking about this? We already talked about this. Why do we get it again? Oh, I know why I wanted to mention this. Because we're talking about it now, but it was actually captured on June the 13th. That's what I wanted to tell you. So even though I was telling you as it had occurred, it was actually had happened on June the 13th. Anyways, let me give you some whack facts real quick. Cows give more milk when they listen to music. 55% of corporate downsizing takes place on Tuesday. Sleeping on your stomach can induce weird, scarier, and sexier dreams. Hey now. Al Capone played a banjo in Alcatraz prison brand. The font of the front of the giraffe's tongue is dark purple to protect it from sunburn while eating. Annually, there's about 60,000 trampoline injuries in the U.S. and 150 dustpans injuries. So there you go. Some very odd things to think about as we are talking. Anyways, let me give you a random joke for today if you're so inclined to using one. Think of how stupid the average person is and realize half of them are stupider than that. That was a George Carlin one. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What fun or interesting alternatives to war could countries use to settle their differences? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question: 17% of men say that they got permission from their partner to do this. What is it? Go to the grocery store. There you go. Anyway, so there you go. That's going to pretty much end what we have going on. If you want to come and hang out with us, we'll be going over to radiobig.fm that you can come out, hang out, and do all that kind of fun stuff. You can go to radiobig.fm or go to TuneIn, where the app will allow you to take a listen to radiobig.fm or just Radio Big inside of the TuneIn app. So that will get you moving and grooving and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, we cannot do what we do here at Radio Big and Safety FM without you, the most important part, and that is the listener. Thank you for hanging out this morning and doing the things that you do. I say morning because it's morning where I'm located, just in case. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Everyone smiles in the same language. Think about that. Smiling can change a lot of things for you. Anyways, that's all I got. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.